everybody, it's me Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm looking forward to joining you and guiding you through today's Yin Yoga practice. I highly recommend that for today's class you have some sort of a pillow. I got a nice like flat sort of smushy pillow. Maybe you have a bolster, maybe you have some meditation cushions, maybe you're grabbing a nice thick cushion off of your couch, because we're going to do a nice supported Sphinx pose later. If that's too much for you, you can always just relax down on the floor. If squats and dangles are a challenge, consider bringing a block for some support to reach down towards the floor or to sit your glutes on. If you're here early, feel free to make any movement that you want to before class. We've got about 2 minutes till we get started, and we're going to start on the floor in a seated position of your choice, Sukhasana, easy pose. I'm going to bribe up my birdie. You being nasty? Yeah, you're being a little bit nasty. You just want some pets. You don't have time for that right now. Oh, it's yoga time. All right, so make sure you're wearing something comfortable that you can move around in. I got some great news. I ordered something new to black out the windows. I'm excited. It's going to be here next week, I think. And then hopefully you'll be able to see me better. But the great news is I'm going to describe all of today's postures and movement for you. And we're just going to do the best that we can with the bodies we have today. I think that sounds great. All right, we got 1 more minute till we get started. Wow. Y'all ready for this? Me too. I encourage you to have some water nearby. We won't have any specific water breaks during today's class. However, if you find that you need a sip of water between postures, well then you should help yourself. But do your best during the postures themselves to create as much stillness as possible. Not just in your body, but also in your mind. So if you find yourself just thinking about that water or snacks or work or other things, acknowledge that train of thought and then do your best to just let it go, come back to your breath, even if you find that you need to count your breaths. All right, so we're starting right here on the floor in Sukhasana. If you need to fidget just a little bit to find the comfortable seated position of your choice, do it. Make sure you actually are comfortable here. We're going to start off with 5 minutes of just being still and breathing. Really bring the attention to the quality of your breath right now. You know what? I'm going to treat myself to sitting up a little bit. Feeling a little tight today. Yoga is not about, I have no one that I need to impress with my yoga. I don't have to like sit on the floor and be as flexible as possible. Sure, it's great to be in these postures and be really flexible, but the mental health aspect is truly, I think, what's the best. And as we relax our minds, it helps us to relax our bodies. Emotions are big time stored in the hips. So if you're feeling really tight, treat yourself to sitting up on your prop, on your bolster or pillow or block or whatever you've got around, even a folded towel. And now be as still as you can be. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So either finding one space to relax your eyes or just closing them. So the important thing in this class is to really ask yourself how your body is feeling. It doesn't matter how deep in the postures I get, if there's anyone else in the room with you, it doesn't matter what shape their bodies are making. The goal as we start to move forward through class is to find a stretch, something that is noticeable. It should not be painful, but you should be aware of it. That might mean that a stretch is uncomfortable. Usually the stretches that don't necessarily feel great or that are challenging for us or that we don't want to do are the ones that our body, our minds need the most. So give yourself a little bit of grace. If at any point postures switch from being noticeable and uncomfortable to actually feeling painful, use your breath, ease yourself out, and find a new spot where you can create that stillness. Maybe you find the stillness in your mind first and then your body follows. Maybe you find the stillness in your body and then bring it towards your mind. Each time that you do, recognize that your stillness is there. Take a moment to scan your body from the top of your head all the way down towards your toes. And just ask yourself if there are any muscles or points where you're creating tension that you don't need it. Where are the spots that you tend to squeeze when life feels a little tough or challenging or when you're focusing? I know for me, I love to bring my shoulders to my ears as earrings, and also a little clenching of the jaw. Definitely, I squeeze my glutes when I'm feeling stressed. Maybe you furrow your brow, or pinch your lips, or make fists. So just ask yourself, where are the spots that you create that extra tension so that you can be aware. Bring a little bit more space and grace to them. And whatever happens today is okay. Take a moment to remind yourself that you are enough. You are amazing. You are here right now. Whether you're here for just these initial 5 minutes or you stick around for the next 40 of class, feel free to set an intention for yourself. Maybe even say out loud a little bit of praise. Think of something positive if you can. Because even if you're having a terrible day, there's always a little something positive. The sun is shining. You woke up this morning. You made it here right now. All right. We're going to start our first slightly active passive asana by standing up. So take your time, make your way to your feet. Have that prop nearby if you have trouble reaching the floor. And it's up to you how wide you're going to have your feet open. Maybe you open your feet about hips width distance apart. Maybe you even go for mats width distance apart. Or maybe you'd like to stand with your feet together, because next step we're going to go into a dangle. If you want to inhale your arms up overhead and draw your belly in, you can always exhale and come into your forward fold. I'm going to tuck my shirt in for a little bit of modesty right here. Just a hint. Great. And then just reach down towards the floor. You can take as generous of a bend in your knees as your body needs today. And remember, you can use your prop right here as well. If it feels good to wrap your arms around your legs. As much as possible, relax and release your head down towards the floor. Create a little space with shoulders away from your ears. You're focusing on the stretch that you're making through the legs. You do have a little bit of engagement of your core to keep that lower back feeling good. Keep breathing. We got 2 minutes left right here. No need to go any deeper. But do ask yourself how you can relax a little bit more. Every inhale, just being aware of the stretch. Every exhale, releasing your breath and the tension. Next, we're going to move into a squat, so you can always reach your hands down to the floor, even if they're pretty far in front of you. Take a time to heel toe your feet out wider. Maybe mats width distance apart. And turn your toes out with your heels in at about a 45-degree angle. From here, we're just going to lower ourselves down into a squat. You can keep your hands on the floor. You can stay supported in the squat. Or maybe you have a block that you can place on the floor. You can press your elbows into your inner thighs and get your chest lifted. I know that I think that this feels much better. There's less strain and stress on the lower back. Bringing a little bit more attention into those hips and doing the best you can to keep the feet flat on the floor. We got 1 more minute here in this squat, so find that stillness. If you can, take a bit of a lift to the chest and a release of your shoulders down your back. Focus on the stretch in the lower half of the body. On your next exhale, we're going to carefully release, make our way down onto the mat, We're going to lay down our backs and get a similar stretch, bringing our knees to our chest. Ooh, so take your time. Keep some props nearby. Onto our backs we go. We'll spend just a minute when we get there with the knees drawn to the chest. Up to you if you have your knees together, if you want to open your knees nice and wide. We're just relaxing, releasing here. Start to really melt and glue your lower back to the mat. So if you need to take a moment and rock gently side to side before you settle into your stillness. All right, next up we're going to take a spine twist. You may want to put the feet down on the floor to help you come into the twist, or you can always challenge yourself with your legs up. I'm going to bring my feet down to the floor. Stretch your arms out to the side in the T. Roll over onto your hip, and then drop those knees over to one side. We're keeping those knees relatively together. If that's uncomfortable for you, think about placing a block or your pillow either between your legs to help you stack those hips, or maybe underneath of your leg. And then the opposite side, the opposite side that your knees are stretching, we're going to bring that arm up overhead. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. We're getting a big twist through the side of the body. If it's hard for you to get your opposite arm, shoulder on the floor of your extended hand above you, perhaps you bring a pillow or a towel and place that underneath of your shoulder. The great part about Yin class is you can use as many props as you need to help you relax and work towards creating this stillness. Keep these breaths slow, deep, and steady. Think towards using that exhale to get all of your stale air and energy and just bad juju out. So every exhale is complete and deep so that every inhale brings fresh breath and opportunities and hopefully a little bit more positivity, inhaling in the good and exhaling out the bad. you joined me in extending an arm up overhead, bend through the elbow and send both arms out into a supportive T again. Carefully roll onto your back. Bring the feet to the floor, press into the soles of the feet to lift your hips up, and then find your spine twist on the opposite side. Once you found it, evaluate whether you want or need that block or supportive something between your legs. Tucking my shirt in for modesty, and then working to bring that opposite arm up overhead. If that's too much on your shoulders, go ahead and bend that elbow. I'm feeling a little tighter on this side, so I'm gonna meet myself halfway. Turns out I can still have the timer over here. We got just over 2 minutes left. Focus on that breath, on being still, creating space. Make sure those shoulders aren't creeping up towards your ears. Make sure you're not creating extra tension within your eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, throat. You can actually practice some ujjayi breathing, a slight constriction of the throat to create a snoring sensation to help warm up your breath. And to help slow down your breath as well. Just making sure that whatever we are doing is noticeable and with intention. Scan your body from head to toe. And ask yourself where you can relax and still enjoy a stretch. We're going to come into a seated position for our next posture. So perhaps you want to roll onto your back, roll yourself up like a ball. Start by bringing that arm in and extending it either to the side and rolling onto your back, or maybe you bring everything over to one side and carefully press yourself up. Just make your way to that seated position, however feels most authentic to you. Oh, yeah. No, we're going to make our way onto our bellies now. Sorry, thought we had a seated position. All right, so next up is when we're going to use the pillow that we brought to class today. If you hadn't already been using it, for a little supported Sphinx pose. You can open your legs as wide as you need to help relieve any tension on the lower back. I ask you to challenge yourself of seeing what this feels like with a little support of a of a pillow or a bolster underneath of your belly. If it's too much tension on your lower back, remove the pillow completely and just come on down into alligator with a nice flat back. If you find yourself lifted here in your supported sphinx and you're not feeling enough of a stretch into that lower back, you can even bend those legs, allowing your heels to come towards your glutes, and notice how that creates a little extra stress in the lower back. Remember, we're going for stillness. We're going to be here for 3 more minutes from right now. Scan your body head to toe. Where can you relax and relieve your tension? Remember, if at any point things become painful, you can always make an adjustment. But if things are simply uncomfortable, if you're fidgeting because you're uncomfortable, really try to embrace the stillness. Even if you're still for 2 breaths and then you fidget, and then 3 breaths and then you fidget, just working towards creating as much stillness for as long as you can. Final minute right here. All right, if you are propped up like me in Sphinx, let's carefully release ourselves out. If your legs are bent, extend your legs. If you are lifted on a prop, remove it from underneath of you. And if you're down on the floor all the way, hello, we're joining you. We're joining you all the way down on the floor. Take a moment, take a couple breaths. Take any sort of bend out of your neck. So using the little pillow you've created with your hand, wrinkles out of the neck. We're going to be here for the next 30 seconds, just taking some breath. Okay, now we're gonna make our way to a seated position. So press yourself up and swing those legs out in front of you. So sitting down on our glutes. You can keep those props nearby because next up is caterpillar. Couple different options for caterpillar. You can either sit yourself up on a block if it's really uncomfortable to extend your legs out. Maybe sit yourself up on a pillow, or maybe today you try just bending your knees with a prop underneath of you. Taking this bend of your knees can really help to release the tension from your lower back. Maybe you've even got another little prop you can use to find some sort of a forward fold. We're gonna hang out in some version of caterpillar. Doesn't matter how collapsed down you are. Obviously, if your lower back isn't feeling so great, you're gonna want to stay upright a little more to take that rounding out. Find what feels good. Find where you can create stillness, where you feel some sort of a noticeable stretch towards the back of the legs, lower back. Think of this caterpillar as a seated dangle. So if you had to do the dangling posture and take a generous bend of your knees, the more that you allow your belly and your thighs to connect with each other, the easier things are on your lower back. Just like with the dangle posture, taking a little gentle contraction with your abs is going to help. And then work to create some space so shoulders aren't creeping up towards ears. They're relaxed down your back. I like this posture because you're really controlling the stretch yourself. If you want to feel more on the back of your legs, a slight additional flex of your toes towards your face is going to involve your calves a little bit more. It's going to bring it more through your hamstrings with your heels pressed in towards the floor, or you can be more passive if that's what your body needs today. Hopefully you found what felt good for you. Okay, drilling. Let's go ahead, press ourselves up. We're going to bring the soles of the feet in towards each other and come into a bound angle or butterfly. If your hips are really tight, you can always bring a prop underneath of the outside of your legs to help you feel supported. Maybe you even walk your glutes back slightly. If that's still uncomfortable for you, I encourage you to come on back to just the seated position of your choice. Experiment a little bit with the idea of even bringing your legs a little further forward. I think that brings more of a stretch towards that low back area, especially as you find a little hinge, as opposed to having things really in and close, which brings the stretch towards your hips, groin, inner thigh. Just find what feels right for your body today. We'll spend 2 more minutes right here. If you want to forward fold, if you found some length, you're always welcome to then find some rounding, only if it feels good on your back. If your back is hurting, taking the rounding in the posture might not be for you today. That's okay. Maybe that's what feels good for you tomorrow. Because every day is not the same. And we're just finding what feels right now. Okay, if you rounded forward at all, press yourself up. We're going to make our way into tabletop for a little bit of cat-cow. I like that last posture, that butterfly. Brings a smile to my face because it also makes me think of like my grandpa and all the times that he would say, I'm not tired. And then slowly he would just hunch forward just a little bit, as I'm sure many of your bodies did during that last posture. All right, so start off, let's go with some traditional cat-cow for the first minute. So hands, palms are just about underneath of your chest and shoulders. However, if you need to, you can always walk things a little bit more forward. Oh, that feels real good. And that's what it's about right now. Oh my gosh, finding what feels good. Ooh, my abs are so tight from class this week, and also a little one-on-one action at the fitness center, doing some arm and ab thoughts with a member. If you happen to be on campus and you're looking for a little extra inspiration, remember you can still reach out, get a fitness assessment, go in, have us create a 6-week training program for you. We can also offer this to all the members virtually, so you feel your best. All right, let's transfer from traditional cat-cow to some gentle lateral side stretches. So just working to decrease the space between your lower rib and your hip. Try it from a neutral spine and tabletop. You can try it from cat. You can try it from cow. Move carefully. Maybe you give yourself, oh yeah, some circles with those hips and shoulders. If you do something in one direction, try it in the opposite direction as well. Just be aware that the range of motion in one direction might be a little bigger than in another, and that is okay. This is a great way to really start to stimulate your belly and digestive organs. We've done a lot of that with the knees to chest that happen in the beginning of class, especially. This is a great way to get some gentle stretches throughout all of the abs. So you feel real good. Oh my gosh. Feeling so much more mentally open than when we started this class, and I hope you can say the same. We're going to take our time, send your hips back towards your heels. We're coming into child's pose. I'm just going to fix the awesome tuck of my shirt into my pants. You can keep your knees together, continue to stimulate that belly. You can open your knees a little bit wider if that's what feels right for your body today. You can walk your hands all the way forward. You can take a generous bend of your elbows. You can reach your hands back towards your heels like a tadpole. If you don't want to have your head all the way down towards the floor, use a prop underneath of your head. This is Yin. Be as relaxed as you can be. We're going to spend 3 minutes right here in this child's pose. All right, carefully make your way out of your child's pose. Turn over, come onto your back. We've got our final Savasana. If you really liked the feeling of having that prop behind your bent knees during our caterpillar, then you are welcome to bend your knees and use a prop behind the back of those legs for our final Savasana. Just find a way to create stillness as much as possible. Take this time to truly melt into the mat. It's our last opportunity together today to scan your body from head to toe. To ask yourself where you can relax to relieve your tension. But know that throughout the rest of the day, wherever you are, whether you be on your mat or in the car, in traffic, or in a meeting, that nobody has to know when you're doing that total body scan, when you're using your breath to exhale and just let it go. I know it may feel like you need to create that inner tension and hold on to those uncomfortable feelings, but I bet you don't. You can be aware of them, whether you're feeling stress from something positive or whether you're feeling stress from something negative. Acknowledge whatever incited those feelings. And then see if you can move on. Even if what you're focusing on is a spot on the ceiling, the back of your eyelids. This phase of your inhale or exhale, just bringing it to the here and now, to being present. You are encouraged and welcome to stay down on the floor for as long as you possibly can. I want to thank you so much for coming and joining me today, for making this time and space for yourself and your physical and mental health. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I've said or we did, please reach out. Till we meet together again, think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds. Take that time to nourish yourself from the inside to the out. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If it feels right for you, you can always bring your hands to the center of your heart, thumbs touching on sternum. And know that the light within me honors, sees, and is thankful for the light within you, as we close class today by saying Namaste.